up, everybody? Welcome back. Let's continue from where we left off in the previous video. So we're still working our way at building this penguin here, and so far we've worked our way from step 1 all the way to step 40. So in this video we'll work our way from step 41 all the way to step 60. Okay, so let's get started from where we left off. All right, now in step 41, we want to position the pseudo element we created 10% from the top. So we'll give it a top property with a value of 10%. Let's also give it a left property, and with a value of 25%. Okay, so now it's positioned, the chin is positioned below the head nicely as we have here. Okay, let's continue. Now let's round off the crest by giving the pseudo element bottom round corners of 100% while leaving the top corners at 10%. So we can use border radius for that, and like I said, it works in the clockwise direction. So the first two values will be for the top left and top right. So that will be 0% and another 0%. Then the last two values will be the bottom right and bottom left. So that will be 100% and another 100%, like so. Okay, so now it works as you can see. All right, now I want to increase the pseudo element transparency by 30%. Okay, so to work on transparency in CSS, we use a property called opacity. Okay, so now we want to increase the transparency by what? 30%. So that means we have to take 30% away from 100. And what are we left with? 70%. Okay, so we have to do 70% like so. And then next up, for step 44, we want to start working on the penguin's face. As you can see, our penguin has a very beautiful face here. Let's start working on it. So to start working on the penguin's face, we want to add two div elements. So have two div elements like so, and let's give them both a class of face. So I'll just use the shortcut to duplicate it. So I'll hold Option and Shift, and then I'll press down. All right, now let's give the face element a width. So I'll say dot face, a width of 60%, a height of 70%, and then also a background color of white. Great. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make the top corners of the face element have a radius of 70%, and then the bottom corners will have a radius of 60%, because obviously penguins don't have square faces, so we can't give our penguin a square face. All right, so let's work on it. So we say border radius. Let's give it a border radius of 70% for the top. So the first value will be 70%, second value 70%, and then the bottom value should be 60%, another 60%, like so. Okay, now let's position the face element so that they are 15% away from the top. So a top value 15%, like so. Currently, the two face elements are on top of each other. Let's fix this by adding a class of left to the face, the first face element. So let's say left. Then the second one will have a class of right. And then what we are going to do is we want to target the face element with the left class. So we say face dot left. And then let's set its position to be left 5% away from its parent, like so. Next up, let's work on the face element with the right class. So we say face.right, face.right, and let's give it a right property with an attribute with a value of 5%. What's spelling mistake, right? Okay, so now our face is coming together. Yeah, it's shaping up nicely. Now below the face.right element which we have here, we want to add a div element for the chin. Okay, so let's work on the chin. So we're going to say div like so, and then let's give it a class. The value of the class is going to be chin. Okay, so we want to target the chin element and give it a width of 90%. And a background color of white. Okay, let's give it also a height. Yeah, we need a height of 70%. Now let's position the chin element such that, let's say chin, it is 25% from the top. So top 25%, and also that it is 5% from the left. So left 5%. Then give the top corners a radius of 70 pixels and the bottom a radius of 100 pixels. So we say border radius 70 pixels, 70 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels. All right, now we have the chin lining up nice and smooth. All right, so now the face and chin elements have the same background. Okay, so we want to create a custom CSS property or a CSS variable. We'll call it penguin face and set it to white. So the way we create a CSS variable, we want to create it inside a root selector like so, and we'll say dash dash penguin face, penguin face. Let's give it a value of white. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to take this variable that we've created here and want to replace it, or want to use it in place of white in our face element. Okay, so I'm going to go and see where we have white. So for example, here in the face element, we have a background of white. So you can just replace this with our variable. So I'm going to say var and then paste the name of our variable here like so. And then let me just copy this. And then I'm going to look for the other one, which should be somewhere here. Yeah, for the chin. So say background color should be this variable penguin face. And now nothing changes. We still have the same white for the face and then the chin. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So for step 56, sorry, below the chin element, we want to add two div elements, each with a class of I. So now let's start working on the I. Let's add two div elements, each with a class of I. So I'm going to say class dash I. Now I'm going to use the shortcut to duplicate it. So I'll just say hold Option Shift and press down. Also, give the first I element a class of left. So let me give this one a class of left. And let's give this one a class of right. Okay, now let's work on the eyes. So let's target the eye element like so, and then give them a width with a value of 15%. Let's also give them a height with a value of 17%. And then let's give it a background color with a value of black. Okay, now we have our eye here, but our eye obviously cannot be a square, so let's work on that. So before that, let's do the position. So let's position the eye element 45% from the top of their parent. So top value will be 45%. And let's give them a border radius. And let's do 50% to make it a circle. Yes, now we have our eye looking more like an eye. We are not there yet, but at least we are getting closer. So for step 59, I want to target the eye with the left class. So we say .I.left. And what we want to do with it is that we want to position it 25% from the left of its parent. So left 25%. And we also want to target the eye with the right class. Let's also position it 25% from the right of its parents. Okay, now we have our eyes in position. Sweet. So let's continue. Okay, so finally in this video, we want to, within each eye element, I add a div class called eyelid. So I'm going to click here, and I'm also going to hold Option and click here, or if you're on Windows, hold Alt and click here. That way you can type at many places at the same time. So I'm going to say div, and we are told this div should have a class. The value of the class should be eye-lid. All right. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you like the video, be sure to like, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel so that when I post the subsequent videos, you would have a look at it. All right, so in the next video, we are going to be working our way from step 61 all the way to 80. Okay, so see you in the next video.